Hello everyone, it's Jim from Britical Saiyans here. I'm going to do a breakdown of my hit deck, which you will have just seen in our latest gameplay video. So to start with, we'll go with the Unawakened side of hit. So he has an auto, which is when this card attacks, it gains 5 power for the duration of the turn. Now, being this is a 10k base to begin with, going up to a 15 before awakening is pretty useful. It means that you apply a bit more pressure. If your opponent hasn't awakened, then they've got to throw a 10 defensive combo, and if they haven't awakened, you just match them. So pretty standard that before he awakens and goes into Assassin Hit. So he has an auto when this card attacks, draw a card, and then it gains 5,000 again for the duration of the battle. So he goes to a 20k base when he's attacking, which is pretty useful. And he also has a once per turn ability, which is when your opponent activates Blocker, you can discard a red card and negate the blocker. So obviously that comes in handy when you've got something like the 6-drop freezer that everyone loves and hates. You can just be like, yeah, no, don't want to deal with that today. And because it didn't finish its blocker, it doesn't get to stand back up. So the idea of hit, really, is we have a 6-drop called Lightning Fast Hit that can win you the game. And so you want to do as much damage as possible, as quick as possible. And we do that by just firing double strike or triple strike when we can. So to begin with, we'll go on to the extra cards. So starting off with a 0-drop, we have 2 copies of Cabba's Awakening. So this is really useful for red, because you don't have to pay any energy. It has the active battle of choose which one of your red cards. It gains 6 power for the duration of the battle. So it can just about push you over the edge for an attack or defending your card, whichever you prefer to do. And we like it to make numbers awkward. So starting off with the 1-drops, we have 2 copies of Fickle Destruction and 4 copies of Valorous Assistance. So with Fickle Destruction, you can activate this during the main to choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 12 or less power and KO that card. So something that's quite weak that came out at the start of the game, you can just kill off, which is quite handy. Valorous isn't too different from Whis in that it's a negate. You pay a red and then you can switch one of your battle cards back into active mode. So it doesn't give you back the energy you paid, but it's still pretty useful, so it gives your opponent one less target. Finishing off on the extra cards, there is 2 copies of the 4-drop Assassination Plot. Now Assassination Plot is really useful. It's very good mid to late game. Early game you just use it as an energy because you don't really want to waste something this good. So it allows you in the main step to choose any number of your opponent's battle cards with a total power that adds up to 30,000 or less and KO those cards. So this is really useful to get rid of their big guns. Or if they've got a couple of things that are coming at you, like maybe they've got the 3-drop Go tanks and something else with 15 power and a double strike, you just flip this out, kill them both, and jobs are good and you're happy, they're annoyed. And that's the aim of the game. So starting off on the 1-drops, I'm getting sinister look after saying that. Starting off on the 1-drops, we have 4 copies of Bolt Armor of Universe 6. He's just a standard 5k blocker, quite useful but also quite cheap and effective. We also have 4 copies of Evolution Premonition Frost. So Frost doesn't really come to play until you've got another energy to go with him. So if he's your first turn play, it's good, but it could be better. But he has the active main of flip 2 of your energy, look up to the top 7 cards from your deck, choose 1 Frost with the evolve effect, and evolve it onto this card and then shuffle your deck. So this can be really useful. You can skip paying a large amount for evolutions. There is a couple available for Frost at the moment. One with both have double strike, one with an extra ability on top. but come Tournament of Power, when we get the Ultimate Evolution Frost, which usually costs you 4 to pay for an evolution, you pay half as much and you gain a triple strike with an ability to KO battle cards. So that's why we want to keep Frost in this, because being able to do a triple strike with only paying 2 is really useful and fun. Finally, the 1-drops. Oh wait, no, I speak too soon. So next on our 1-drops list we have 2 copies of Manipulating God Champa. He's just a standard look at top 7, find a red Champa, add it to your hand, and then afterwards just a combo follow. And finally we have 3 copies of Saiyan Kaba. Now we all know what this little red tyke does. He just lets us add a card to our life, gain double strike and 10k. So we get from our life, not to our life. Thank you for the correction. So yeah, we self-awaken, we gain the double striker. If it doesn't hit, we've used what he's there for. So starting off on the 2-drops, there is 4 copies of Divine Aid Vados, our super combo. So like any other super combo, if you're on 4 less life and your leader is red, for this example, draw a card, gain 10 power for the combo. So obviously we need to run 4. And then finally we have 4 copies of Hit. This version is just a vanilla with 15k power, but it's useful for when we get into our lightning fast hits, which you'll see towards the end of this video. So entering the 3-drops, we have 3 copies of Double Shot Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. This one is our combo core, so after you combo with him from hand, if your leader is red, you get to play him in rest mode. He costs 1 to combo but gives you 10k, and he's a 15k attacker. So after he's done his bit, your opponent might hit him, might not, and if they don't, you've just got a 15k beat stick. If they do, you can lose it. Like, the main thing we want to see on our field is double strikers and triple strikers. Finally with the 3-drops, we have a singular copy of Furthering Destruction Champa. So Champa, again, one of these staples in the game. When you combo with this card, choose one of your attacking cards, it gains double strike, and of course he's a 1k cost combo with 10k power. So you wouldn't play him to the field unless you really want to attack someone for 16, but it's not worth it. They will try to kill it. So entering the 4-drops, we have a singular copy of Jiren. Jiren being a staple in red and a very powerful card overall. I only have 1 copy because I only have the 1 copy, literally. He's very hard guy to find, but he's worth it. So he's a double striker, always a good start. This card's going to attack cards that are in active mode. So obviously, if your opponent's like, oh, I want to keep this alive for next turn, Jiren's just like, nah, I want you to die. So Jiren has a once per turn auto, which is when this card attacks a battle card, switch it to active mode, and then this card gains 10 power for the duration of the battle. So it becomes a 30k, and he starts off as a 20k, which is really nice. And finally in the 4-drops, we have 3 copies of Terror Assault Frost. Again, this goes with the Frost that I showed you earlier that can call out an evolution. He only costs 1 extra energy just to play as an evolution, but if you can pay it cheaper, why not? And if you've been getting bad draws, at least you'll get a chance to shuffle. So this Frost is 15k base, double strike. When this card attacks the battle card, KO that card after the battle. Then, if your opponent's leader has 10 or less power, inflict damage to your opponent. So early game, this is how you get your damage in. Like, if they've protected the battle card for some reason, you still kill it and you deal damage. If not, you just deal damage. Like, that's the aim of the game. We just deal damage as quick as we can. We don't have to do it the honest way, we can be a little dirty with it. It's whatever works. So in the 5-drops, we have 3 copies of Bewitching God Vados. Vados has a 20k base power, She has dual attack, so it means she can attack once, restand, attack again. And she has the auto ability of when this card attacks, look at the top 3 cards of the deck, choose one alien with power 15 or less power among them and play it, then shuffle your deck. So this is an easy way to get out the hits, carbers, you name it. If it's weak, Badass will get it for you. So entering the 6 drops, which is where the core amount of the deck plays, we have 2 copies of Mind Controlling Bobbity. Bobbity is just a staple in a lot of decks. It's very useful in decks that can multicolour easily, and if you're playing red, this is how you get your big boys out with paying minimal amount of energy. So when you play this card, look at the top 7 cards from your deck, choose up to 2 red battle cards among them with 25 or less power, other than Bobbity, so you can't just search another one, play it, rinse and repeat, and then shuffle your deck. You will be getting erratas in the near future, so it's good to keep a deck like this mono red, because then we can always do Bobbity no matter what. So we then have 2 copies of Destructive Terror Champer, which we can search out with Manipulating Champer, as I showed you earlier. It's a 5 cost evolve onto a Champer with a 25k base power and triple strike, so this is one of our guys that's doing a lot of damage. So when you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with 15 or less power and KO them. So if your opponent's just been filling up a board with stuff that's, like say, a Saiyan Vegeta, or they've got something like we have here, like the Terra Frost, you just play this out, kill their board. And of course triple strike is always deadly, because it means that your opponent has to think more on whether they can take the attack, and in this deck we want them to. We want them to take as much damage as we can give them. And that's because of this guy, who's the final card in the deck, and our final 6 drop, Lightning Fast Hit, which there are 4 copies. So Lightning Fast Hit is partly the reason I even built this deck in the first place, and that's why it can work quite well. So it's a 5 drop evolution onto a hit, which I've shown you is the vanilla. He has double strike and 25k power base. When a card evolves into this card, inflict 2 damage to your opponent. So they can't really stop it unless they're playing a freezer deck, and then you just go Cold Bloodlust, because Cold Bloodlust. Other than that, you just bring this out, deal them 2 damage. And if you've been doing this well and playing right, and you've been hitting them with double strike, triple strike, double strike, triple strike, and whatever, this will be your win con. This has won me a fair few games, and as much as my parents hate it, it's just how things work sometimes. And yeah, so we've hit, idea basically being we do as much damage as possible, slap them onto the field, deal the final 2, or if they're on 1 life, we deal them 2 anyway, because it says, and then we have a victory. So that is my Lightning Fast, well, speaks too soon, that is my hit deck, a simple quick kill deck, as I like to hope. So thank you all for watching, and goodbye.